It's funny, I think, because the touch-up
makes it worse.
Hello.
Dan!
You're gonna have to excuse me right off the bat because I'm laughing at Jesse's face.
There.
I already warned him.
Yeah, well, it's true. We were texting about this earlier today. We were.
And I feel so bad because I feel like a lot of our old friends are going to watch this episode and I'm going to look like a fucking tomato.
And I look like a lumberjack, so it's great. I mean, it's a good look for all of us, really, at this point.
Well, yes. Mask is in these days, girl.
It's true. It's very true.
Jesse, it's not the redness that I find hilarious because I've seen you after a skin procedure before, but the fact that on Zoom meetings you have a touch-up option.
Yes.
Make it look prettier, and Jesse has his on, so all I can see is the red coming in and then getting touched up and then not.
That's great.
Okay, let's talk about our guests, shall we? Now that we've got my Malibu Trump look out of the way, our guest today is not only actually helping us kick off Global Pride Month, but he is also the CEO of a super popular blog you may have heard of called dothedaniel.com. And no, even though it sounds like one, it is not a porn site. dothedaniel.com is a space for education, entertainment, and general fabulousness. And I know, Dan, that barely scratches the surface, but Dan is our guest today. He's a foodie, a traveler, a businessman. Please welcome my old gal pal, Daniel Reyes. Woo!
Hello, everybody. Hello, darling. It has been too long since we've caught up.
It has, and I haven't even showed Jenna old pictures from our partying days.
Well, it's funny because I was just looking through those, actually. So, you know. Yeah, well, we both have ammunition now.
If you thought Jesse was
Jenna?
Today, I'm sure he did not too long ago back in high school when you were orange.
Similar color, actually. Yeah.
Well, I won't say how long Jesse and I have known each other because that will date us, but let's just say it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. And you know, I've seen you grow up before our very eyes, and I remember when you started this blog, dothedaniel.com, which I'm still convinced you tried to like make it an OnlyFans and then you pivoted. Like we're all having to.
I did. Well, there's actually like a XXX option as a secret password for the back end. Yeah, it's been almost 10 years that I've been doing this now, which is a long time. That's crazy.
And where did the idea come from? Because even 10 years ago, there was millions and millions of blogs. So the idea of starting one would be intimidating, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I moved to Toronto, I met my then husband, or my then boyfriend, now however that works.
Oh, God. I'm glad. I had questions about him. I was like, did they break up? I didn't know. Okay.
No. Okay. Well, we can get to that because it's a hot topic. You get it. So we started dating and I met him and he was a blogger. And I was like, what the hell is a blogger? And I started going to events and I really enjoyed it. And I launched Do the Daniel as a food blog. And then quickly realized that I wanted to make money. So I transitioned over to lifestyle. And then at my biggest, I had 12 staff writing for me. So now it's back to just me again. And we're focusing on starting a family in a couple of years. And we're just sharing our adventures online. I partner with brands around the world. We get to travel the world, meet celebrities, and do all kinds of fabulous things. I love it.
Wow. So,
Jesse.
That's great.
You know, jealousy really knocks the wind out of him sometimes.
Well, no, you know what it is? We've got to get you to Toronto. That's what we've got to do. We got to take you on the road in an RV and get you here. That's what we got to do.
It is. I wasn't out of words. It's these goddamn, I can't wait for the pandemic to be over because waiting for delays, and does anyone else have anything to say? Because it's just a mess. And you know, we have had our technological challenges today, girlfriend. We barely record this thing.
You're welcome, everybody. We're here.
So you kind of just answered this, but one of the things I wanted to ask you, and like, tell me to F off if it's too personal, but like, I'm very interested in hearing the business model for blogs, because when you look at a lot of blogs, even Perez Hilton, one of the biggest in the world, right? Whether you like him or you don't, he's not selling anything. There's not a revenue stream that's obvious to the average person. So how do blogs make money? Is it all advertisers?
So it depends, really. I mean, so for lifestyle content creators, as they like to call us, basically what I do is I write and I command an audience. I get my name out there, people start to trust me, and then I track my audience members and how many people are coming to the blog. I then turn around behind the scenes and talk to public relations firms. We're sort of like the gatekeepers. Let's say, for example, a tequila company wants to get out to X amount of readers a month, and they know that Daniel has that many readers. how much is it going to cost, or what do we need to work with Daniel on to get us onto his blog? That's kind of how it works behind the scenes. So the world of PR is sort of that like untamed magic behind the curtain that nobody really knows about as an average consumer, but they sort of are constantly looking for people to talk about their products and their brands.
So blogging is like the original Instagram influencer.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about those. But listen, everybody's got their platform. Instagram was never really my thing. I like it. It's a part of the job, but my blog is my strongest platform, and it always will be. I think the thing with Instagrammers that they don't realize is the minute you hit post, you don't own your image anymore. Instagram does.
Oh.
So, sorry.
Well, you know, but like, what set you the Daniel apart? Because when you started this, even when you transitioned from food to lifestyle, you must have had a moment of like, what am I doing? Like, who even cares? And now you have thousands and thousands of readers every single day. So you must be, first of all, very proud, but I'm just impressed that you achieved that tipping point that a lot of people don't get.
I think it comes with a lot of tenacity. I'm going to be really honest. You've known me for a long time, Jesse. I don't like being told no. So when people say like, you're never going to go anywhere with it. I mean, I have to be honest, for 2.5 years, I worked a full-time job while I was building the blog. So I wasn't able to live off of it from the get-go. And even 10 years ago, people weren't really paying anybody. It was all about sort of like, oh, here's a case of Coke. And you're like, cool, thanks. But like nowadays, there's some serious money to be had if you're really tenacious, ambitious, and know what you want to add as a voice to the internet. And I just sort of like scream out into the world, and people seem to like what I'm doing.
Do you think that maybe Instagram influencers are the reason that you're able to make a living off of it? Because if it wasn't for that competitive market, because I used to do PR, and all you have to do, and you know what, it wasn't even long ago that we were radio hosts and people would stick free product into our hands, give us free tickets, and we'd write about it or talk about it for no pay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good point, Jenna. I think for me these days, like I remember going to school and university and learning about like journalistic integrity, and this is going to piss off a lot of journalists that are about to watch this, but it doesn't really exist anymore. Because as a journalist, you used to actually not be able to accept gifts. That was just like, that would make you bias, and then therefore you'd be writing about something that you were sort of coerced into writing. Well, a lot of times that's what happens these days, right? And so I love that you're drinking with me, by the way. Cheers. That's perfect. Mm-hmm.
A really great rosé, by the way, if anyone's interested.
And La Vieille Femme, I know it very well, actually. I think with Instagrammers, the hard part is that, and I'm sure as you know, you worked in PR. In PR, it's like, well, we need one gay guy, we need 2 black women, and we need a biracial straight couple that live in the burbs. And it's like, it kind of takes a little bit of the
Authenticity.
meat out of the content, right? It's all about like, you're just checking a box, which is challenging to realize that you're just sort of a cog in a system. I mean, I get it. I'll play the game. It's funny because there's actually someone in the industry right now that's very much going through the same cycle of content that I went through 3 years ago. And it's weird to be on the outside looking in now to see that person sort of cycle through the same things that I was doing. But I guess it sort of makes you realize that the media is not really as like, everything's great as you think it's going to be.
No, definitely not. There's actually a influencer, and is she from Toronto? I can't remember. I think her name was like Fiona. I don't know. I saw her last night on the news when I was flipping through it, and she's on blast right now because she's an Instagram influencer. Also, she's a writer, journalist, and there's a video of her asking a guy who was like putting boards up.
Oh my God, no, I saw this. Yeah.
She goes up and asks the guy to like hold the machine he's using to like put the nail gun or whatever, and she just takes the picture, gives it back to him, and goes, "Thank you very much." Runs, gets into her Mercedes with her camera guy, and is like, "Good work, guys, BLM." And everyone's like, what? This isn't a photo opportunity.
I mean, this is happening a lot right now, right? And I think that it's time that the internet steps up and sort of calls people out for this shit. You know what I mean? It sounds awful to say. I actually, unfortunately, have gotten myself into a little bit of hot water during all of this because I called out someone on a social media platform and he posted something extremely racist. And I called him out for it. Well, it since has gone very, 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 very viral on this platform. And this person is sort of like calling for mercy. But I think it's 2020 in the current world that we live in, and with the political world that we're living in and what needs to happen for change. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. You know what I mean? And that specific influencer as well, she should be called out. You're being fraudulent. You're using a political movement for your own gains. Not
right.
okay.
And that's kind of the whole point of this movement right now, is it is time to call out all racist acts. You know, whether that's amongst your peers or whether that's within the police force. Like, that's the thing, is everyone needs to start holding people accountable for the racist things that they're saying and doing. And unfortunately, an Instagram influencer is only on Instagram. It's not that deep. A blog,
Right.
you get to sit down and you write out your thoughts and feelings. Instagram, you show it in a picture. It's the future.
I mean, I think that there's definitely pros and cons to both. I am turning right now to a lot of my content creators that are people of color, and I'm looking to them and what they're creating, and I want to hear their voice. And I'm really trying to use the Do the Daniel platform to amplify everything that they have to say. I'm really shutting my mouth. It's not my place. But I want to sort of add to the conversation and help people get their voices out there. So, I mean, former staff members of mine that are people of color that are saying what they need to say, I've offered the platform free off to them. However they want to use it, they can have it. Because I think now more than ever, it's a time for us to really add to this conversation. You're right. You've got, I mean, I am disgusted by what I'm seeing from the police across the United States of America. It's awful. And if this doesn't change, how is the world ever going to get better? You know what I mean?
The thing I've been loving so much about calling people out is all the little white Twinkie porn stars. Have you seen this? It's almost its own pandemic. All these white Twinkie porn stars are posting videos being like, Black guys have been mean to me my whole life. And it's like, not the time, bitch.
Literally, like, take their social media accounts away. Take them away.
And they are.
Take them away.
They're losing their jobs. And it's just, it's refreshing to see all these guys. I've been so jealous of their abs for years. It's like, now you're falling. You racist piece of shit.
Let's be honest. I love bread. I'm never going to have abs again. I had them when we were friends, and they're gone. They're just gone. Bread and wine. That's the way to go these days. I'm telling you.
You do.
But you're right. I think it's important to call people out. End of discussion. That's really what it comes down to. And if you don't know what to say as a white person, this is my biggest piece of advice. If you don't know what to say, educate yourself. Don't ask your Black friends. Because it's kind of like, inherent racism is something that we all have as white people, and inherent white privilege, and we don't even realize it. And then to turn to inflict the pain onto people and ask them for the solution, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? You got to sort of do the work yourself as a white person and really look inwards and be uncomfortable with what that feels like.
I always think right now is a time for anyone who isn't Black right now. And yes, other races are discriminated against. I've been discriminated against. It happens, but right now it's their movement. Black Lives Matter right now, and our job is to be their hype man. Our job is to shield them from things and to lift them up and give them platforms like you're doing.
100%. And I'm just one tiny little baby piece. You know what I mean? I will happily continue this fight because I hope it doesn't stop. I mean, something that Johnny Sibilli, a really famous content creator, said online is that let's never forget that Pride started with a riot. And that's really important, and especially for Pride Month, for the gay community to remember, we've been through this. We've done this. We now need to help, right? And I mean, Jesse, you and I can go on forever about this, but like even within the gay community, there's such prejudice and racism, and it's really bad sometimes, right? So we have a lot of work to do internally as a community as well, I think.
Yeah, and you made a good point just there when you talk about not asking Black people, because I think even I might ask a Black friend if I had questions, but it's the same as people turning to us and saying, why do you have a pride parade? We don't have a straight pride parade.
Yeah,
how many times have we gotten
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. So yeah. And you do have a very diverse lineup of writers. If you go to dothedaniel.com and look at the About Us, meet the team, I was very impressed how you don't have you're like the only white gay guy, or maybe not, but you know what I mean? You cross the whole rainbow there.
And I think it's always been important to have different voices and different experiences. I know who I am, and I didn't want sort of like a carbon copy, like a View panel, you know what I mean, in the days of Barbara Walters. Like the Whoopi days of the View are much better. They're much more diverse. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. You know what I mean? Having a little bit more authenticity to things.
Yeah. I just find them too like intentionally diverse. Like it's so typical. Like I even think of ones we have in Canada, like The Social, and it's like, okay, here is your Asian chick, and here is your Black chick, and here's your token white, and it's like, let's just start selecting people based on like their general skills. And I don't know, it just seems so manufactured for the sake of appeasing audiences, not because they really do want to hire a diverse cast.
And I completely agree. I think the hard thing is television's actually a really challenging industry. And I remember when I first started blogging, I liken myself to the human accordion. And I mean that by I can put on and drop weight really quickly. So I go like a lot. And I remember I was pitching a television segment, and the producer looked me flat in the face, and they were like, "Yep, lose 30 pounds, and then you'll be just gay enough and just thin enough for TV." And I was like, "Excuse me?" But that's just the world that we live in, and it's sad to say that to change that is almost just as hard as to change the way that Black Lives Matter is fighting for their rights. You know what I mean? Like, television is so typecast. It's all about who you are, and you're gonna fit into this little box. It sucks.
Do you think I'm thin enough?
I don't know. No, just kidding, honey. You look gorgeous. You've looked gorgeous for fucking years. Don't even come for me right now.
I'm not. You look gorgeous too. We all do. We should start our own show.
I'm really fun. You know, I have wigs now. There's drag content coming to the blog this month. A lot of things are going to change for people who are reading the blog this month.
Oh,
we'll see.
Nice tease. But what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm like, we're going to be doing a lot of drag content and supporting drag queens this month who are stuck at home and can't perform. So a lot of really cool stuff coming for Pride Month that I'm working on, and I'm excited for it.
Woo, Pride Month. Well, you're changing a lot. I know, you know, blogging isn't the only thing now. You're also doing consulting. And that's a big word that gets thrown around in the radio industry that Jenna and I have talked about a lot.
Yes.
And
and you hate them.
Oh my God. It's always, can I pick your brain? Can we talk over coffee? I'd love to hear your thoughts on. Yep,
but that's exactly it. But is it like because businesses and brands are looking to consult with how to pivot amid like COVID-19, or were you consulting before this too?
So I was consulting before it, actually. When my previous business partner, Catherine, was still working for the blog, she now has her own. It's called Catherine's Cabinet. You guys should go check it out. If all health and wellness, good stuff. What we were doing was actually helping small influencers sort of structure themselves and build themselves into small businesses so that they could pitch to be bigger. So that was really important for us. And then we were also consulting on like social media strategy, event management, and just all around sort of influencer content strategy so that we could offer firsthand experience into the world and sort of help people do a little bit better. It was a fabulous way to make money, I'm telling you. Like, I loved it.
Are you still doing it just amidst COVID?
So I'm just finishing up my last contract now. I've actually taken on more of a culinary marketing role now. So I'm actually working for a restaurant here in Toronto, and I manage all of their marketing side of things because that's actually what I went to school for. So I'm now working in the restaurant world, still running the blog just by myself, trying to have a baby, trying to keep fit, manage a pandemic mentality, and keep up with Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's a really fun time to be alive. I think we're all just lucky we're still breathing at this point.
And you want to bring a baby into this? Okay.
Yeah. Baby or two. I mean, you know, do they come in, like, is there a discount for two at once? I'm not super sure, but I'm going to figure that one out.
But you'll have fun trying.
That's right. We do keep trying. It just doesn't seem to stick. But, you know, we'll just keep giving it the good old try.
What have you been eating during this pandemic since you're the culinary sort of guy?
So went full on crazy COVID-19 in the beginning, had a sourdough starter that turned into like this sour smelling awful thing. Did the banana bread thing, did the whole juice cleanse thing. Now we're just trying to sort of just eat a little bit healthier. I will say I have never drank more in my entire life, which is always an interesting addition. I don't know how I'm going to go back to the office and not have a glass of wine at 10 a.m. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. So we'll really see how that transition happens.
Have you really been doing it at 10 a.m.? Because Jenna, you should share your rule. Jenna got out of hand at 10 a.m., so she implemented a rule.
3 p.m. No drinking or toking until after 3 p.m.
Okay, and that works for you. I mean, sometimes I don't do it every day at 10 a.m. by any means. You have to understand that the culinary marketing side of my life, I work with a company out of London. So I can start as early as 5 a.m. some days on their time, which is 10 a.m. So we can get a little, by 10 a.m., yeah, maybe I'm having a little glass of wine outside on the patio. I'm not going to lie about that. Welcome to COVID-19, Daniel. That's right.
Mimosas are a breakfast drink for a reason. So are Caesars.
That's right. All of those involve fruit. So there you go.
I'm pretty sure there's some European countries that have wine over lunch. When I worked downtown, I used to have wine at lunch all the time.
I think as you should. It's market research, and you're supporting the economy. That's
And
you're a hero, Gemma.
maybe this is a sign. She is a hero. This may be a sign of a deeper problem, but my thing is when I have one at lunch, I can't stop. I can't just have one.
All the time. Going. And then by 3:00, I'm in bed and I'm asleep, and I'm like, what's happening? You know what I mean? We're trying to make a baby again. It's just it's a vicious cycle. It's true. It's very true.
So speaking of wine, do you know the sparkling winos?
Yes, I do know them.
Do you? Are you friends with? Are you like frenemies?
No, we definitely are friends.
Jeff and Mike, right?
What's that?
Jeff and Mike, I think, are their names.
Jeff and Mike, that's right.
I don't know them. I just know of them.
They're lovely. They're lovely, lovely, lovely. So they both respectively had pretty strong social media channels. Both really loved wine and started something really popular and created this beautiful channel where people can go and check out all their wine knowledge and follow along on their adventures. They're lovely, lovely boys.
Fabulous gays like us.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think you and I could ever create the content. We just drink the wine. So, I mean, it would just be counterproductive, right? I mean, we'd enjoy it, but would we ever get to creating the image? I don't know. We'll see.
They're not one of those people that taste and spit, are they?
Well, I mean, to each their own. I've never been known to spit ever. So that's my take on it.
Hey, if you want to go there, you know what? Now that I'm single again, I've realized
please.
It's easier to swallow than spit. It is, Jenna. It is. Because you just chug it down. And when you're spitting, you have to like taste it twice.
I'm trying to get past the chug it down action that you
know
just
exactly
did.
What I'm talking about.
It was a pretty aggressive image there for a second, Jesse. But I will say, the swallowing thing, just get it over, be a trooper, get past it. Because the spitting is a process, right? You've got to get up, stumble in the dark. You don't even know where the bathroom is. It's a lot of just choices.
And naked spitting.
What was that? I missed that, Jenna?
I said I wasn't ready for this conversation yet.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. What's next, Jesse? Shall we talk about thong sizes, cock rings? I'm ready. Let's do this.
You know this program. We pivot. We can go from blogs and professionalism to hard sex. So whatever you want. And the other thing about swallowing is the guys really appreciate it.
They do. They really do. Now, two schools of thought, though. They appreciate it, and they're like, thanks for that, get out. Or, thanks for that, let's kiss. There's very diverse topics here. So I'm curious, what is the word on the single streets these days?
Well, I haven't had a lot of practice, but...
no, virginal. I'm totally accurate.
I'm just noticing all the different textures in my mouth right now.
Yeah, but you don't feel them if you swallow it down, I'm telling you.
You're not chewing, Jenna. I don't, like, that's like...
Or is she?
He needs to drink some
water. You know what? That you say that I guess all men, gay or straight, appreciate it. Because straight men talk about it all the time. Do you swallow? It's like bonus points.
I don't think ever in all of my dating did I ever have someone spit. Ever. I mean, I've dated a lot of troopers, I guess. I'm not sure.
Or you're a fan of pineapple.
I mean, I do take care of my boys. That's a lot of innuendos. That's the word. Yeah, innuendos.
So let's talk about Julio.
Let's talk about him.
So you recently had a blog post talking about spending so much more time at home with your husband.
Yes.
Has that been good or bad?
So in the beginning, I think everybody during all of this really went through shock. You know what I mean? Nobody could believe what was happening. We were all just stuck at home, didn't know what to do. I'm kind of a homebody, actually, to be honest. I love being at events and being busy, but I would love to just come home, like eat a pizza and relax on the couch. Julio, on the other hand, is much more independent. So he loves his alone time. We're lucky that we rent a 3-story townhouse in Toronto. So we have different floors that we can sort of have our own time by ourselves. But yeah, it's been a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, relationships right now are under a lot of stress, right? You're sort of having to, it's almost like you're dating the person all over again. You're spending so much time together. We've been together for almost 8 years now, sort of.
Well, I want to echo that the separate spaces are key. The only reason my last relationship lasted as long as it did is because we always had separate bedrooms. And I used to talk about this on the radio and people would call in. I was nuts, but Oprah endorsed it one time. And ever since then, I've been holding on to that fact that a lot of houses are built with 2 separate bedrooms. Quiet, Jenna, you know. And
relationship advice from Oprah.
And I'm going to just say this, Jesse, I love you, baby, and I want you to be the Canadian Oprah. But you know it's because Oprah doesn't like men, right? Like, I think that that's pretty common knowledge that that's why they had separate bedroom. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're watching this, Oprah, I'm sorry. Please invite me on your show. I'd love to be on it, whatever you're doing these days. Dear Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening,
That's
I'd love
awesome.
an endorsement deal. Anyone out there on the internet that wants to pay me, I'm ready. Let's do it, except for Mr. Trump. Nothing to do with him, please. Yeah, no, thank you.
So,
I find it fascinating. The separate bedroom things I've heard. I have a lot of friends that have done it. I don't know if I could do it. If I'm
okay, so although you have separate spaces, you still sleep together.
Yes. Yeah. The bed thing is an important one for me.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just that's like that's a big deal.
How long have you guys been together?
So we will be. It's our 5th wedding anniversary in December. We very publicly were separated for a year, which everybody knows about. So it's not anything I'm not able to talk about. And then we were dating 3 years prior to that. So we've been together almost 8 years.
Okay. Do you still cuddle?
Yes. But I'm like, as you can tell, I'm a little bit on like the jacked side now. So I'm much larger than my husband. He's a little twink like Jesse. So when I like hold on to him, he gets too hot. So he's constantly pushing me off of him. So
thank you for saying that. He's much thinner than me.
I got that in really well. Did you like that? It's a nice little plug. Yeah.
What happens to twinks when they're no longer twinks? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I'm not super sure. I feel like they lose all their hair, they get a little baby belly, and they turn into a Teletubby.
So when I hear the word twink, I always think of Twinkies, right? Because then the desserts, I'm like, maybe they grow into eclairs.
Well, then
there's a lot of cream on the inside of an eclair, and there's a lot of twinks usually inside of a twink as well. So
or
there you go.
cannoli. Just a sophisticated Twinkie.
I do really like the snack tangents that we've gone on, though. I do really enjoy this process.
Are you salty or sweet?
See, I'm a Libra, so it's got to be both.
Okay, I'm a Libra too. This is why we get along, but I am always sweet. That's the one thing I can actually make a decision about.
Valid. Okay, so if I had to pick one like flavor, it's actually spicy for me. I crave spicy food. But if I have sweet, I have to have a little bit of sweet and a little bit of salty. Always.
What's the spiciest thing you've ever had to eat?
Oh, a ghost pepper, like a fresh one.
Did you eat it?
I did. Yeah, I did. I was traveling in Mexico. I was in the countryside. It was on a press trip, and they just dared a bunch of us to do it, and I did it. It was more unpleasant on the way out than it was on the way in, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I love spicy food. It's definitely something that I can handle.
Now I hear with ghost peppers, like we did it once. I don't know if you were there, Jesse, but we did it at the radio station. We tried like a little bit of a chocolate bar. I tried like the tiniest bit, and that was hot enough. And I like some heat, but I hear that you start to hallucinate when it gets to a certain.
Well, it all depends, right? I mean, it depends if it's dehydrated, because then there's less water, which means the spices are more concentrated, or if it's pickled, or if it's coated in sugar. Like, there's so many ways to ingest it. A fresh pepper, any fresh pepper is going to be hot, but not anywhere near as hot as if, like, you cooked it and you intensified the oils. So actually eating a fresh hot pepper of any kind is going to be the easiest way for you to eat it.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I went too deep thinking about the pepper preparation process there. Okay.
I mean, listen, we've literally talked about everything and anything. So you ask, I'll tell you.
Well, speaking of pepper preparation, though, because I've been using fresh jalapenos a lot in my salads and everything like that, you have to wear gloves for that, right?
I mean,
any special tricks to not, because they'll burn your hands for hours.
They burn your hands?
Yeah, you've never had that happen?
No.
I don't know. I don't cook enough.
Jesse, what was the last time you ate is the question, I think.
Oh, God, I love you.
Oh, darling, forever. I don't think I've ever had to use gloves to cut a pepper.
Okay.
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 Jesse?
No, I really don't. I'm going to cut up a hot pepper now just to test that, I promise.
Jalapeno at my house.
Okay.
I will drop it off for you.
Okay, perfect. I will tune into that. And if you are the only one burning, Jenna, I think you need to see a dermatologist, maybe. I don't know what that means. Like, I've never heard of that reaction, but I'm curious to learn.
And if you do need a dermatologist, I clearly know one. So there you go. Here's the topic that you two can bond over because you're both tattoo fans.
Yes.
And I don't have any tattoos. And I was floored when I saw the chest piece you got, Daniel.
I sure do.
You can't show us right now, obviously, but we should put a picture. What is it? It's a wolf? It's
a wolf. Yeah. So I had the word always tattooed over my heart because I've always been a hopeless romantic. I've got a heartbeat over the other side of my chest. Then there's a wolf and there's peonies everywhere. So feel free to throw that photo up there. Shamelessly plug my body. It looks fabulous. But yeah, that took 16 hours. It was pretty intense. Not gonna lie. But I love tattoos. I think they're a great way to express yourself. I've got a lot of them now.
Okay, so you don't just have the chest piece?
No, so I have the chest piece. I have a little rose for my dad. I have a quetzal, which is the national bird of Guatemala. I have me drawn as an anime. That's my husband who drew that. I have 3 little hearts. 2 girls and I, after 15 years of friendship's got that. I have some Pokemon on my leg. You know, I'm a little bit all over the place.
Tell us the one that people don't normally see.
The chest piece. Yeah, the chest piece, and there's actually an interesting hot topic. There's a quote on my ribs from my ex. I was engaged before I met my husband, and it's in his handwriting, and it's always been a little point of contention. I'm thinking about covering it up, but it was a quote that he wrote, and I was very moved by it, and it reminded me to forgive him after our breakup. So, yeah, I'm that person.
Kumbaya, my lord. So, but if that was a bone of contention with you and Julio now, is that what you're saying? Or just for yourself?
Yeah, well, think about it. You're dating somebody and you see their ex's handwriting on their body. That's a lot, right? So I kind of get it. But for me, it was sort of a healing process thing. That's what I needed.
My question is would you go and get something from Julio now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's kind of what this is. So you'll have to flip your screen, but it's kind of like half a face. If I put it here, so that you guys can see it. Yeah, it's upside down so that it faces this. I'm not standing up. I'm not wearing any pants. But it's a Zoom call. Who puts pants on?
No, nobody.
So Julio drew it, and I had it tattooed on me. That's kind of Julio's thing, if you think about it. But yes, I think tattoos for me are about expressing something or remembering something. I can't fucking stand people who are like, "Here's my pizza slice." Why is it? I like pizza. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's kind of how I feel about a lot of white people with Asian writing on them, and I'm so sorry.
Oh God!
But
every time that somebody shows it to me and a friend translates to "fat ugly pig" or something like that, I'm like, "You deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve that. You paid $10 for it in an Asian country. You deserve that."
Yeah, and it just seems so odd to me, a symbol of that says water. I'm like, what if I wrote water in English on my arm or wherever?
Everybody be like, do you have a deficiency? Are you dehydrated?
Well, yeah,
it's very pretentious. Yeah. For me, it's the horn or the
barbed wire.
Oh my God, that's so. Just every gay porn star on the planet.
You know what? That dates you. That puts you firmly in the late 90s. It's the same as those people you see that have the polio shot, the scar.
Yes.
You know how old they are. The same with the barbed wire.
Yeah, next is these bands, right? The lesbians and their bands.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I just can't. When I got my chest piece finished, there was actually a lesbian getting her band done, and she was screaming so goddamn fucking loud I had to put earmuffs on. I'm not even kidding. It was terrifying.
Okay, I've had a few tattoos in some weird places. Not weird places, but at the bottom of my wrist. And it hurt, but never would I ever scream.
I mean, I was really excited for a story there, Jenna. I was really excited for a really enter here somewhere on your body. You know what I mean? That's what I was waiting for. And then it went to bottom of the wrist. All right.
Yeah, exactly. No, the only good story I have is I have a tattoo I've never seen.
Okay. I feel that's you and me and a bottle of wine that off of camera, and I feel there it is. All right.
A bottle of tequila and a Xanax, and then Bob's your uncle in Florida. Always have to
so much. I think you and I just have officially bonded. Jesse, you're right. Well played.
I knew
it. Played. Yeah.
You tattoo people always do. It's the one thing. I look how mad they both got. I still want one. I just don't know. I'm non-committal as a Libra, so I'm scared to get one, but maybe one day. Okay, so we're almost out of time, but let's just quickly, we're talking to Daniel Reyes. Are you Dan or Daniel these days? I know you as Daniel.
I go by both. The only one I don't go by is Danny, and I realized when I met Julio. He's the only person that has ever been able to call me Danny, and I don't want to punch in the face. So Dan or Daniel, both, either one works.
All right, dothedaniel.com. That's the website. Let's ask you some real quick rapid fire questions, okay? You ready?
Yes.
See how quick you are. If you could be any animal, which would it be and why?
A wolf, because the tattoo, and it means something special to me. Next.
Ooh, that's another interview.
Yes, it is.
Is there a blog about that?
It's coming.
All right. Next one. If what supply in your house is running low?
Alcohol, always. So alcohol sponsors, feel free to send it my way.
Yes. What's your favorite sex position?
Oh, reverse cowgirl.
Oh.
COVID safe.
And it's a great angle to watch. So there you go.
Oh, that was my next question, and you just answered it.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Whoa, that one was too deep. If you could have a superpower, what would it
The
be?
weather. I always wanted to be Storm. She's the best X-Men, hands down.
I can't answer that question. It's too hard. I always want to say like invisible, and then I always land on remember the Secret World of Alex Mack where she could turn into a puddle?
Yes.
I think I'd want to do that because then you could sneak in places.
I mean,
What do you want to be, Jenna? Invisible?
Mind control. Mind control.
the good one.
That's
Is a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I want to turn into a fucking puddle.
I told you I'm single in quarantine. I want to see some puddles.
Jesse, what kind of porn are you watching right now? 'Cause I feel like we're going down some octopus porn pathways down here. You know what I mean? Like that's some water, some tentacles.
If only you knew, I just finished reading a fascinating book called The Soul of an Octopus. And octopuses, I don't know, but they're really intelligent creatures.
Yeah, I'm convinced they're aliens, actually.
Me too.
I also really like to watch Ancient Aliens. It's kind of my like guilty pleasure on television. And that shit always gets me going. I'm like, we are the aliens from the future. It's nonsense like that on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, my mom's obsessed with that show, and Jenna's 90 Day Fiance is the other one.
I refuse to go anywhere near that. I can't do it. I just can't. I just can't. Like I'm a bad gay. I'm a bad gay. I can't bring myself to do it. Guys, I got into like 20 minutes into the first episode of Tiger King and I had to turn it off. Like
It gets good in the second. Okay, what are you watching right now? Quick, we gotta go.
RuPaul, we started it from season 1, like the shitty filter, and we got ourselves all the way up to season 12, which has inspired the drag content. That's what we're gonna be doing.
All right, and we will follow that drag content on dothedaniel.com, and you're Do the Daniel on all social platforms too.
All social platforms. You find me and slide into my DMs.
Okay. Daniel Reyes, dothedaniel.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Cheers.